Hey guys, welcome to issue 28 of the Disney Doll's House, and as you can see, the Doll's House, it's gone. Well, it's not gone. I've moved it into the office, which is going to be its permanent home, so I've got more room to do the basement. We have what we did previously, which was this room here, which is nicely secured on and snug. I think this is going to be covered up anyway, so I think I can leave the stains on here. And this is what we're doing for issue 28. Now this one is making me a little bit nervous because this is the first electronic, maybe not wires, but certainly with batteries and a motherboard, first electronic project we're going to do. We're going to build a lamp for the Peter Pan room, which I think is going to be awesome. But I've looked at the instructions. It looks simple, but it's given me goosebumps. And then we're going to be doing, this isn't glued on, this is just put together. But we're going to do the next part of the basement, which will be underneath the Frozen room. So this is underneath Mickey's room, and this is going to be under Frozen room. Now the reason I think this room is split in two is because underneath this room here, and I think underneath the Alice room as well, is going to be, yes, I need to wash my desk, I'll do that first, Pooh's basement, which is going to slide in, and I think it's going to reach about here, which is where the stairs are going to be. So this area here is going to be the stairs. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab a cup of tea, get all my glue stuff ready, put glue in my glue pot, grab my brush, which is still being rinsed at the moment because I had another project working on the go, and we're going to get started. This should be fun. I think this is why people do it that way, so that they can get the bulb in the right place. But there's also a nozzle here that I'm going to do this. Hopefully that stays, and then we put push it down so it's nice and flush. Trying to not push against the actual bulb itself, like so. That looks good. And then there's 3 notches. I don't think it minds. Oh, I think it does. I think that's got to be like that. Like so. Hopefully that's right. So that's like that. And then hopefully if it's working. Whee! And there's my first light. That was so simple. Now the reason the guide says that we don't glue these down is I'm assuming in order to change the battery you turn, well it would have died, but you take the bottom bit off, you take the, well I suppose you take this bit off first, but you take the bottom bit off, which is now currently stuck, so that probably is my fault, but you take the bottom bit off, take the hard drive out, change the bulb, put the base back on, and there we go with it. Now, like everybody else, I do have a slight spill on here, and I've seen loads of people be able to solve it, put black tape around, but I actually want to keep, or at least put black tape around this area here. And the reason I want to do that is linked to the film, because there's a scene where Tinkerbell is actually trapped so Tinkerbell gets at some point in the film trapped in this drawer here. So I think having the spill on this bit here adds to the effect of a past film. But yeah, it is a little bit annoying. Let's see what it looks like in the dark, shall we? Ooh, spooky. This is spooky. And now I can't feel it. Oh, there he is. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh my god, that looks so awesome. Not bad for my first lighting technician in the doll's house. This is so cool. And you can see, I think you can see the spillage going down to the bottom now. But that is awesome. I love it. I think it's so cool. Don't know if I'm going to modify this like others. Some people have put Tinkerbell in it. Others have put, as I've mentioned, black bits to stop the spillage at the bottom. But I kind of like it. Might think about it. Anyway, let me turn the light back on. That is so awesome. That's so awesome. I'm so glad it worked. Let's turn the light off to save battery. But our next role is to do the basement, which I need to go and fetch my glue for. But I'm just so happy that this is working. So we're going to put this aside and we're going to start on the basement. Hopefully we get as much fun as we had with that. I'm just so happy with it. As you can probably hear from my smile, I'm so happy. But let's get cracking with the basement, because I think this wants to expand a little bit. So disappear in and out a little bit. So I need... yeah, so it's going on, I think. Yeah, so it's going on this bit here, and we're going to be doing the glue this side facing towards me as the picture is showing. And we need to do about halfway along there, quarter of this bit, and then about up to about there, all the way down, including this section here. So let's make sure that I've translated that correctly. So we'll start with the top bit first. Can you see me? Yeah. So up to about, I think there, and then down like that. And then if I've read this correctly, I might need some tissue. I might need to disappear in a minute to go and get some tissue. Up to there, and then up to about there is where this is going to be. It says put less glue in, but I'm using PVA glue, so I'm going to put heavy glue on here just so that it's got a little bit of a chance to actually settle. I think that's right. And then basically, if I've read this right, up to about there, roughly, all the way down is that, again, I might have to dash off and go and get, and then this bit here as well also needs a bit of glue. And then the idea is turn this upside down like that. Can you see me? I'm just going to tilt you up a tiny little bit, which is probably going to make this fall to the floor. There we go. Down a tad. There we go. And it's in, yeah, so it's in this hole here, and that last one is in the last hole down there. And if this glue is correct, everything should fit into place. I'm not convinced, but I'll certainly give it a try. Let me tilt it this way so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. And make sure it's nice and flush. Like so. I think that's about right. Again, I'm going to need tissue, so I'm going to dash off real quick. Be right back. I normally have cotton buds, but I don't have them today, so we'll just have to make do with good old-fashioned toilet paper for now. Okay, so it looks like I miscalculated on this bit here, which is now off, and that's flush, that one's not. Let's push that one down a little bit, like so. Think that's okay? Okay, so that's that bit done. And then flip it over, I think. Yeah, flip it over, like so. Like so, and this is where I might need some more space. And I need to glue... Oh, maybe I could have left the glue on. But I need to glue this bit. Don't think it really matters if I get it on the edges. And this bit. This might be where... This might be a 2-day project. Because I might need to wait for this to dry. before I proceed. Depends on what else I need to do. Do I need to do the sides? On what bit? Oh, I see. No, but I do need to put glue on the edges of this one here. Well, it looks like, yeah, basically everywhere on this one. Is it meant to be? I think it's meant to be that side down, so it's definitely, yeah. Yeah, that side. So, bit of glue on the edge of there. Bit of glue. Can you see it? No, I'm a bit high. On the edge of here. On the edge. And then on the edge of this one as well. Yeah, basically along all the edges here. I'm just going to put some more glue on that bit. And the idea is, if I have done this correctly, which I'm now doubting I have. Does that make sense? Oh, okay, so lettering up this will then connect. It's odd that they're asking us to connect this bit without actually putting the small bits. Don't want to break anything. That's why I'm trying to keep this as straight as possible. I hope I didn't just break something. Let me just flip it over. That made it more easier. And worryingly, it is actually very wonky, which is what I feared would happen. But I think that's right. Don't know why that bit's bulging out. Maybe that one's a little bit too far forward. But hopefully when I finish this section off and then flip it back over so it can dry, it should allow it to get things sorted. Let me quickly do the next stage, which is, if I've read this correctly, I need to move you guys back. Let me move this temporarily out of the way. Move you that way a little bit. Maybe if I put you on there, that should give it. I need something heavy. There we go. That will do. There we go. Now the next stage, I need mark C, which is this one. I basically need the letter C pointing that way. And it's just, if I've read this correctly, I need a little bit that way, because I'm turning it that way. And I'm doing the second one from the top, about halfway. And then halfway down here, if I've read that correctly. Might have gone a little bit over. And then the same again. Right, so miss one, half, miss one, half that way. Building with the Boys actually has quite a nice little technique which I might steal from him, which he has a little squeezy bottle which he uses for his glue. I might pinch that idea because it's a lot easier to spread the glue. But I do love my glue paintbrush, which sounds odd, but my glue paintbrush has never failed me before. That's why I love it. I'll always use it. Okay, so in theory, that should go, oopsie, that should go there. The letter C pointing outwards. And should just, probably, without trying to bloody terrify me with, excuse my language, with the fact that it just snapped. But that should be how it is. When I turn it, when I flip it back over, I'll have a look, see if it's dislodged anything. The next stage should be, I'm missing one. Beam 8. Is that beam 8 or beam D? Beam D. Okay, so unlike the others, this one is getting the glue everywhere, but I still want to make sure. Is there any way of indicating? Okay, so it has to face that way. And we're basically putting it, pop them on that bit, everywhere on this beam. Can you see it? Yeah, I think you can. I need to put my hand about there. So just to let you guys know, and I'm going to put another video in the middle of this bit, me and Ratty, we're going to do a puppet show. It's in Highgate, and I've already brought the poster up on a previous video, but I'll bring it up again to imitate. But I wanted to show you some other stuff as well, which will be on the video, which you'll see as I continue doing this. Hey guys, Kimber right here, just taking a break from editing to let you know about the wonderful project that me and Ratty are working for. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's at Coppet's Wood, poster right here, and it's basically about bees and what they do, and a little adventure as two foxes discover the bees and also discover drones as well. It's a fantastic little piece. I've actually got some of the puppets here. Now this is a wood pigeon that I'm actually doing the voice for, and this is Rowan. Rowan is absolutely cute. I've done 2 photos of him because I'm testing my flash on my camera at the moment. And then we've got a whole swarm of bees which go to attack someone, attack a person at some point because they disturb the hive. And these are just absolute brilliant and huge fun to operate. And then finally we got the final puppet, which is one of the bees here. Now you'll notice without the flash that one of the bees has a purple. This is either Bianca or Beatrice. I never can remember which colour is which. I need to get ahead of that because I'm voicing one of the bees and another person's voicing the other, but I'm operating both, so I need to resolve that at some point. But this is super cool fun to do. It's on Sunday and it's absolute brilliant. I hope you guys can join me and support Ratty and me. Ratty's currently asleep at the moment, or he was popping up his fur at some point, so he's as excited as I am. Anyway, back to the project we're working on. Okay, so I've got most of the glue where I need it. I think it's basically all there. Might need a touch of glue here and there, but I think we're good glue wise. And this is going with the letter D. I've got glue in my hand now. Good thing I don't care. Okay, now it makes sense why the panels have to be like that. So I need to move you back. And basically, starting from this post here, which will be connected to this one, this will probably solve my little "you're not straight" problem, in theory. It could be this. I've had problems with the wood warping before, so it could be that I've got some warping wood somewhere among here. Bring this forward a little bit, maybe that will also help. Do I need the cutting board? I don't actually need the cutting board, so I think I can actually take the cutting board away, because I'm wondering if the cutting board is part of the problem. Let's move the cutting board that way a little bit. And in actual fact, when I turned it over, I actually spotted this is a bit higher, but I think it's going to be okay. Just get rid of some residue glue on that side, a bit of glue along there. Other than that, I think we're actually pretty good. I think we are. I think we are actually pretty good. Everything is nice and flush. I think this is just a little bit warped, and that's why it's not functioning properly. So there's about a tiny little centimetre of a gap between this post and this one, which was a similar problem I had with the previous post. But that doesn't seem to have caused any problems, so I'm not too fussed about it. But now we're going to work on this beam right here. And this beam, I'm going to move you back slightly. Hello. That will go... Okay, so we're turning the whole thing 180 degrees round. And the idea is, if I've read this correctly, which I never know, is the letter's going to be down? Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like the lettering's down on this one, and it's going to go down like that, if I'm correct. Now, where do we put the glue? Okay, so this is going to be awkward. But basically, flip this. Oh, don't break anything, please. That would be very nice. Thank you very much. We're going to flip this round, and yeah, this one's not going to be easy. So we're going if I've read this correctly, we're doing along here, and then a tiny little bit down there, but we're leaving a gap, if I've read this correctly, which I think I have. So up like that, and then round this section here. And then we're going to play Don't Do the Lettering, which is the only way I can describe this next step, because I'm really confused as to what we're supposed to do. But if I've read it correctly, we basically make a thin, probably meant to be a little bit further, but yeah, I think it is meant to be a tad bit further, but and then paint. This is why the brush is just absolutely perfect, and why I love using the brush, because it spreads the glue so well. Downside, if you're trying to make the glue as thick as possible, you then end up with a couple of moments where the glue doesn't quite work. Right, so the next bit is we're going to completely ignore this section here. We're going to go up here and then down. I think it will make more sense when I glue it on. At the moment, it's probably not making a single bit of sense, but it probably will when we actually do it. There we go. I think that's okay. And then the idea is that bit on the end there and that bit on the end there. Oops. Line the holes up. Like so. And then we basically wait for that to dry. And now you can probably see, if I turn this that way, why we had to paint that weird shape. Because it's basically where the gaps are here. I'm going to turn it over to show you what it looks like. Now that it's glued on. I don't know if the holes are meant to align, but it certainly isn't giving the impression that's what's supposed to happen. Yeah, we've got a tiny little bit of residue on the bottom of here. Whatever issue we had straightening wise has actually now resolved itself since we put that beam on, which is actually really good and really useful. That looks 10 times better than how it was before. And I think that's, so this is going to be, if I've read it rightly, that feels slightly up, that bit there, that feels slightly up than how it should be. I think it's because it's not quite straight. But already this is starting to look good. I need to borrow my tissue again because I've got glue residue down along there. Make sure I haven't shifted anything, which I haven't, which is good. So this is the frozen room. And like I said, I think the reason just going to push down on this section here because I think there we go. Now that makes sense. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So I think the reason this room is split, half little section here and then the rest section here, has to do with Pooh's room. So that we're basically working on the bottom part and Pooh's room, which is going to be this section here. This section, and I think linking into Alice's room, which is going to be this section here. But already, I'm pretty impressed. I'm actually really happy with what I've done. I think it's going to look so cool when it's finished. Now, this is where we're going to have a little bit of a problem size-wise. Particularly with where we're going to put you. Now, hopefully, after a little bit of tidying up, which I'm going to do off camera, this should be relatively easy. But if not, you might find you've moved a tiny tad bit. But stand by. Okay, so this next gluing stage is going to be slightly complicated. It's very simple with what I need to do for this panel, but not quite so simple when it comes to what I've got to do here. So basically, I've got to do the edges of this bit here, which I might have to do off camera. But these bits are just basically glue that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit, and the whole of that bit, and then put them together. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to angle this bit towards me. Can you still see me? Yeah. Angle this bit towards me so I can see what I'm doing while I'm like a painter. I'm going to paint this section here. I don't have a painting background, but this is probably the best way of describing how I'm putting this glue on. Like a painter. Like a painter trying to put detail in a tiny wind section. Don't know if you can see my face, but I'm cringing at this point because I don't know if this is going to even work. Can I get away with painting this? Probably. I do have plans for the basement bit, and it could be that Pooh's room becomes half a storage area. Now, if I read this correctly, all we got to do for this bit is that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit, and that bit, and then put them together. And this is probably where everything is going to go completely and utterly pear-shaped. But we'll see. Just gone pear-shaped there because I've just stuck some glue where I'm not meant to. But hopefully it doesn't do too much in the way of damage. This always makes me nervous. I've only just started talking with these builds because I normally have music in the background, and that's linked to me. I concentrate a lot better when I've got music behind me. When I've got a really difficult project, you might see me go, no, cut, I need to focus, and then you end up with a video of me not talking and loads of music, and that's just where I need to really concentrate. But it doesn't look like I need that much in the way of concentration when I'm doing this bit. Saying that, I haven't finished it yet. That might be famous last words. So we just done this bit, and now we put it together. So I turn this back round, and the idea, that hole goes with that one goes with that one, and these two go with this bit here. So if I've built this right, it should every time it does that, it always makes me panic, because I keep thinking I've snapped something. I'm going to do it slightly different to how they say do it, being that I'm going to do this upside down. Okay, I think that bit is reasonably well. It's got a slight dip up here, but everything feels like it's in place. And it does look a lot more like a basement now. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this to dry and have another look, see if it's okay. I think it's okay, but you've got a gist of how big the doll's house is going to be. And if you think this is just Mickey's room, Frozen room, I half suspect this is also half Alice in Wonderland's room as well. But look how amazing it looks. I think it looks brilliant. Whether it's going to stay brilliant will depend on quite a lot of things. Now what bothers me is that there's a gap. It's solid up to about there, and then it's got a wide gap. I wonder whether that's just warping. But there's nothing particularly wrong with it. Everything's, apart from this section here, which is very, very stubborn, everything appears to be where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to leave that and pray and hope that doesn't affect anything else in the build. But I love it. I think it looks so awesome. And on that note, this is issue 28 completely done. Doesn't it look cool? I think it looks wonderful. So we're going to be working on issue 29, which, if I remember rightly, is adding the final section to this bit here. And then I think we're going back to the house for the next issue for a window. I'm not entirely sure. I need to double check. But it already looks pretty good. And we're going to be busy with this section for a little while. We're going to be jumping back and forth, but mostly working on this. So I'm going to stop playing with this because that dip there is bugging me. But I don't think there's anything else I can do about it. So stay safe, stay well, keep the magic in your fingertips. I'll see you again very, very soon.